Feeling good is the doorway to everything you have been asking for. When your thoughts move into even a slight sense of relief, you begin lining up with the version of yourself that already holds your desires. Alignment is never about forcing a positive thought or pretending that everything is perfect. Alignment begins with choosing the best feeling thought that you can genuinely reach from where you stand right now. As you do that consistently, your emotional guidance becomes clearer. You begin to recognize which thoughts tighten your energy and which thoughts soften it. That softening is alignment. That gentle upward movement is how you match the vibration of what you want. You do not have to leap into joy or appreciation in one jump. You only need to reach for the thought that feels a little lighter than the one before it. Every time you choose a thought that feels better, even slightly, you begin moving yourself into harmony with the part of you that already lives in abundance, clarity, wellness, and ease. This is why feeling good matters so much. It is not about ignoring reality. It is about tuning yourself to the version of reality that matches the life you have been asking for. When you practice this deliberately, you begin to notice that emotional relief is not just an emotion, it is guidance. It is the signal that you are becoming a match to the future you have already created vibrationally. Over a period of 30 days or less, if you choose the best feeling thought available to you every day, you will begin to see a shift that feels undeniable, not because the outside world has changed yet, but because you have changed your point of attraction. You have changed where you stand vibrationally, which means you have changed what can come to you. The work is not to reach for the best feeling thought that has ever been thought. The work is to reach for the best feeling thought that you have access to right now. Some thoughts are simply out of range. You cannot jump from frustration to bliss. You can, however, move from frustration to relief, and relief is enough to shift your entire path. You become a deliberate creator instead of an unconscious reactor. You begin using your internal guidance to place yourself in vibrational alignment with who you really are and what you really want. You are the leading edge extension of what many call Source, God, or infinite intelligence. And that is why new ideas, new desires, and new impulses feel so alive when they move through you. They are not random. They're expressions of your expansion. When your environment produces a new desire in you, that desire becomes part of your vibrational reality instantly. In order to experience it physically, you must bring your thoughts and emotions into harmony with it. You cannot birth a new desire and continue to repeat the same thoughts that contradict it. You cannot evolve without allowing your thinking to evolve with it. When you do not allow yourself to move toward the new version of yourself, you feel negative emotion. That is your guidance showing you that you are focused in a direction that contradicts what you have already asked for. Negative emotion is never punishment. It is information. It is your internal navigation system telling you that the thought you are focused on is taking you away from what you want. Imagine you are traveling from Phoenix to San Diego. It is a trip of about 400 miles. You know the way? You do not panic halfway through the journey simply because you have not arrived yet. You do not turn around because you are still in Yuma. You understand the path, you understand the distance, and you trust that if you continue, you will arrive. Yet when it comes to emotional journeys, many people do not trust the process. They measure their progress by what is manifested physically rather than by how they feel. They check the diagnosis, the bank account, or the relationship status, and if there's no physical evidence of improvement yet, discouragement sets in. That discouragement is what causes people to turn around energetically. They begin moving toward wellness, then look for confirmation too soon, find none, and turn around. They begin moving toward abundance, then check the numbers too soon, see no proof, and turn around. They begin moving toward clarity, then doubt themselves, and turn around. It is the energetic equivalent of driving Phoenix to Yuma, then back to Phoenix, then back to Yuma, again and again, wondering why San Diego never appears. San Diego was never the problem. The path was never the problem. Timing was never the problem. The problem is the emotional turnaround. Your emotional guidance system is accurate every single time. When you think a thought that moves you toward what you want, it feels lighter. When you think a thought that moves you away from what you want, it feels heavier. That is how you know whether you are aligned or not. The diagnosis felt frightening because the thought you activated in that moment was going in the opposite direction of your desire for wellness. The fear was guidance. The discomfort was guidance. It was your internal navigation saying that the thought you were practicing was not in harmony with your desire. But many people override this guidance because they have been conditioned to prioritize outside opinions, outside statistics, and outside authority over their own internal navigation. You do not need 10 opinions. You do not need endless advice. You do not need to chase every suggestion that people offer. You need to care about how you feel. When you reach for a thought that feels better, you move back into the direction of what you want. Understanding this brings you into a profound truth. Feeling good is not a luxury. Feeling good is not an escape. Feeling good is alignment with your path. Feeling good is your confirmation that you are a vibrational match to the life you want. If you wait until the manifestation appears before you allow yourself to feel better, you will wait longer. The manifestation cannot appear until the feeling comes first. More than 99% of every creation is complete vibrationally before you see any evidence of it physically. This means you can be far along your journey, so close to the manifestation that the next step would tip it into physical form and still see nothing. If you judge your progress only by what you can see, you will misinterpret where you are. Your job is not to look for evidence. Your job is to stay on the emotional path. Your job is to stay aligned enough, long enough, consistently enough for the physical to catch up. When you feel good, you are already receiving the first stage of the manifestation. You are tuning yourself to the version of you that is abundant, healthy, clear, confident, and capable. What you think and what you feel and what manifests will always be a match. There is no exception. This is not punishment. This is precision. This is the way the universe mirrors your vibration back to you. If you want change, you do not begin with action. You begin with emotion. You begin with the thought that feels better. When you live in a world full of information, contrast, and options, it is easy to become overwhelmed. But the simplicity is this: choose thoughts that soften you, release you, open you, and lift you. Stop rehearsing the problem. Stop convincing yourself that the problem needs more explanation. You do not need to justify pain. You do not need to justify frustration. You do not need to defend why you feel the way you feel. The universe responds to your vibration, not your explanation. You're allowed to reach for a solution without describing the problem. You're allowed to feel better without earning it through suffering. You're allowed to choose a thought that feels like relief without any logical reason. The next time someone encourages you to analyze the problem again, remind yourself gently that your emotional guidance matters more than analysis. The fastest path forward is always found in the upward movement of your own emotions. You will never run out of desires. You will never arrive at a final manifestation and declare the work complete. There will always be more expansion ahead of you. This is why enjoying the journey is so important. If you wait for the manifestation before you feel better, you will spend most of your life in waiting mode. But if you allow yourself to feel better on the way, you will live a life of continual unfolding, continual receiving, and continual alignment. Follow what feels lighter. Follow what feels relieving. Follow what feels like a small release of resistance. That is your alignment. That is your guidance. That is your true path. Every time you choose relief, the universe responds. Every time you choose a softer thought, your vibration shifts. Every time you choose to trust your emotional guidance rather than the loud voices around you, you move closer to the life you want. You are the creator of your own experience. You are not the victim of circumstance. You are not the prisoner of past events. You are the chooser of thoughts. You are the one who decides whether you practice the vibration of the problem or the vibration of the solution. Your life has already placed everything you want into your vibrational escrow. The universe has already said yes. Your job now is simple. Feel your way into alignment with what is already yours.